Hello, this is Chuck Terry again with Crescent Cardboard. I'm here today to further the uh, discussion on the tools with the shaping tool within the Valiani V Studio. We're going to create the baseball mat design that was just recently posted onto the Valiani, Crescent Valiani Facebook. I'm going to open up the V Studio program. I'm going to select the Create software here. And once the Create software is launched, I'm going to go ahead and type in my dimensions. So this particular design that I created, it turned out to be 20 inches wide, 16 inches tall. And I primarily used the rectangle for the opening for the picture, and then two pieces of Clipart that are installed in the Valiani software. So I'm going to go in and open up the Clipart, go into Openings, Insert Clipart. And the clip arts that I used in that design, they're under the sports directory here. Just to make things quicker, I'm going to go ahead and select them over here where I've got it under my preferred design. So open up that design, click OK or Open, and then the design comes in. Now you got to keep in mind that any of the clip art that comes into the software is always grouped together. If there's more than one object that makes up the clip art, it's going to come in as a grouped object. Okay, so what that means is I have to come over to the group section over here, and if I want to adjust the size of the clip art proportionally so it's not stretched and squished, I select the proportional button, and then I adjust the size of the clip art that I want it to be. In this case, we're going to go 14 inches. I'm going to readjust the centering. Okay. Now you'll notice here there's these control points or control handles out here on the edge. That's showing us the perimeter of that clip art. So that clip art turns out to be 13.9626 in the width and 14 inches high. So it's not completely circular, but close enough for what we're doing. Now what I want to do is I want to take that and I want to ungroup it. When I ungroup the clip art, you'll be able to see all the different points that make up, or all the different aspects of the clip art that make up that design. So once I've done that, you can see I've got much more control points to click on and whatnot. So I'm going to just click over onto the workspace here to deselect everything that I just had selected. Now, if I wanted to, I could individually click on one object, and it'll bring me up to the layering options and tell me what layer that object's sitting on, how it's going to cut, and what cutting head it's going to use. Okay, so that's the ungrouping the clip art. All right, now at this point in time, what I want to do is I want to insert an opening. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my templates, click on the rectangle, and I'm going to size that rectangle, and it is going to be 7.75 by 9.75. And again, a lot of this stuff is just kind of playing around with it, getting familiar with it, understanding the process. There's probably 2 or 3 different ways to go about doing what we're going to achieve. So just keep in mind that through this process, we'll have different techniques that we're illustrating. So I've got my opening in here, and in the particular design that was loaded onto Facebook, I actually moved that design up a little bit so that the strings of the opening were intersecting up along the top edge of the rectangle rather than all the way down here at the bottom. So I'm going to take that opening and I'm going to move it up to 2 inches. Once I've moved it up to 2 inches, you can see I still have some portions of the strings intersecting through the opening, which is fine. That's about where I want to have it. Okay, now similar to the shaping tools and contouring tool video that I did earlier, we want to do the same thing here. I don't want to use my layering. I don't want to add a layer to the opening and adjust the reveal from that. I need to actually work with these objects as independent objects. And everything at this point in time needs to remain on layer 1. So my baseball circle, it's on layer 1. The strings, they're all on layer 1. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this opening here, and I'm going to create a contour around it. And the contour that I'm going to put around it, I'm going to go into openings, insert contour, and let's go 0.1875. Okay. Again, global, single. For this instance, because it's just a single opening, it doesn't really matter. I can use global or I can use single. The mode, I want it to be full. I don't want squared corners or chamfered corners, and I don't want rounded corners. Now, it's automatically saying here in the program that it's going to push it to layer 2 because it already sees there's an object on layer 1. Well, I want to override that and go down to layer 1. My cut type is normal, and the cutting head that I'm using is 40 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And that just now created an opening larger than my 7.5 by, or 7 3/4 by 9 3/4 by 3/16 all the way around. So I've got a bit of a reveal there. So now I've got these objects in here, and ultimately this contoured opening that I put, it's going to end up on layer 2. Right now it's on layer 1, but when I get finished, it'll be on layer 2. And I want to go ahead and set my layers up when I'm done with all of my editing, with my shaping, my welding, and my contouring. After I've got all that completed, then I will move my objects to a particular layer. So at this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this and I'm going to evaluate where those baseball diamonds or the baseball strings are intersecting in with my opening. And I can see that there's one down here, over here, up here, so on and so forth. So now what I want to do is I want to use the shaping tools to fuse that portion of that string into the opening. So I'm going to click on the string here that's intersecting with that, and I want to go to I'm going to go and select the innermost rectangle, my 7 3/4 by 9 3/4 rectangle. So I'm going to hold the Control key down, and now I've got that selected. I'll go into Advanced, and I'm going to use the Trim Bottom. So what that means is everywhere that rectangle is intersecting to that object, that little string depiction, is where it's going to fuse into the lower opening. So I'm going to click on Trim Bottom. Now the program, the Valiani program, it does have a couple of nuances with it. As you can see, that disappeared, and so you're kind of wondering what to do. Well, that is something that Valiani is working on fixing. So for right now, I just select and do group and ungroup, and that will bring it back. Again, that's a little nuance in the program that Valiani is addressing. So that first piece that I just fused into the opening, it is still there. And underneath that, there's a little bit of a highlight around that edge. And that has now fused into my rectangle. So if I draw a line coming over here, it'll end here, come up, go around, down, and follow that path around that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the rest of the ones that are intersecting here. And bear with me as I go through the process. I'm going to select my main rectangle, hold the Control key down, and I'm going to click on the next point there, Trim Bottom. Again, it kind of disappeared. I'm not going to go through the process of grouping and ungrouping until I get finished here. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select this one, this one. And incidentally, you can only do 2 objects at a time with this program like this. Okay. So now come back up to the top up here. I forgot to click on that, so now I've kind of screwed myself up with it. So I gotta I got to come over here, group, ungroup, bring those back. So now I'm going to select my inner rectangle, hold the control key down, and click on trim bottom. Hold the control key down. My rectangle is still selected, so I can click on that, trim the bottom, click on the next one, trim bottom, and then finish up with this one, trim bottom. Okay. So now those have all been trimmed into that main opening for the rectangle. I'm going to ungroup that, or group it, I mean, and then ungroup it. Okay. So now I don't want to delete these objects out of here because I'm going to use those for the next process, and that is I want to take my larger rectangle, the one that I contoured around my main opening, and I'm going to weld all of the strings of the baseball into the larger opening. So in this case, I can select more than one object when I do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click the control button, select, 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 select. Those aren't intersecting, so I'm not going to worry about that. Select, select, come down here, none of these are intersecting. That one's intersecting, that one's intersecting, and that one is intersecting. So I've got my larger rectangle selected. I've got all the strings that are intersecting with the rectangle selected, and this time I'm going to choose to weld it. Okay. Again, the preview of the program, it's a little nuance that they're working on, but you can see now here where those trimmed pieces were put into the lower opening. So again, I'm going to come back, select, group, and then ungroup. Okay. Now at this point in time, I need to start moving all my objects around on different layers. Well, the majority of my layer, or the majority of my objects are on layer 1, and I need to move those to layer 2. So I'm just going to simply select all of the objects. I'm going to right click, go to properties, select change layer, and I'm going to bump that up to layer 2. So now all of the objects have been moved up to layer 2. Now I can simply click on the inner one, come back down here, move that to layer 1, and then I'm going to click on my circle, and I'm going to bump that up to layer 3. This mat will end up being a 3-layer mat. Okay. Now I've got that set. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in my next clip art. Insert clip art. Again, the next clip art, it's located in the Sports 1 folder, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to open it. Now you can see that it comes in at a fairly large size, so with my proportional button selected, I'm going to go ahead and set that to 4.5 inches tall. Okay. You can see that it got hidden again, so group, ungroup, and for now that will bring the object forward. So now I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to drag it down. I'm going to arbitrarily position this opening. Okay. And I'm going to scroll in a little bit, and I'm going to move this guy down. Let's go like 0.75 inches from the bottom, maybe 0.65, and then I'll scroll out, and you can see where his legs are going to intersect to the circle. All right, now again, back to the clip art. If a clip art is made up of more than one object, I have to ungroup it. So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup it, and you can see that this little cutout piece right here that helps distinguish his arms is a separate piece from the rest of his body. Now I'm going to utilize that tool Okay, um, and I'm going to create an outline around that. And the reason for that is because if I leave it where it's at right now, you can see right here as I draw this line through, there's going to be a line showing of the bevel, and I don't want to see that. I want to hide that. So a little trick to do that is go into openings, insert contour, and I'm going to put that at let's go 0.125, just a small little offset. Now I don't want that to be on layer 4. I need to put it onto the layer that it's on, that is going to be part of the top rectangle. So that's on layer 2 at the moment. So I click OK, and it offset it. It's got this big shoot going out. It's not a problem. So all I have to do now is select my rectangle. Okay, I'm going to select out here, and then I'm going to hold the control key down, and this time I'm going to go to advance, and I'm going to choose to weld. Okay, so now that welded that. It didn't affect the original piece, but it welded it into there. So now it's going to do a rectangular cut and come back up and around that arm and back through without showing any reveal. A little advanced, yes, but as you practice with it and start to familiarize yourself with the process, then it should become a little bit smoother. So I'm going to group it, ungroup it, and now we're set to go. So now I need to take my actual baseball silhouette player here, and I want to fuse him into the circle. So there'll be a cutout here down by his legs, but then it'll go around the body, around the bat, around the backside, and then come back around and complete the circle. So I'm going to select the circle, which is on layer 3. I'm going to select, by holding the control key down, the baseball player, and again he's ungrouped, it's not grouped together, and I'm going to choose to do trim bottom. Now when I do trim bottom, again, this part of it that is missing, it isn't actually missing. That's another preview thing that Valiani's working on fixing, but it is ultimately there. So after I fuse the object into the circle, I now have a bit of a highlight around him. So I'm just going to come down, click on that, and hit the delete key, and now he's been fused into the opening. Again, the top part is there, it's just the way that the program is working. So to see that and to illustrate and see if we got everything correct, I'm going to go into the cut program. Now in the cut program, it's going to display the amount of layers that I have for the design. I'm not connected to a machine, so that's why I'm getting this unable to connect message, and that's fine. But you can see over here in the red that the top part of the body was in fact still there. So let's review the layers here. So let's uncheck layer 3 and layer 2, and you can see where everything on layer 1 in red is going to be cut. Okay, you can see how it matches to the white, and that's going to give us that string effect that's melted into the or fused into the opening. So I'm going to uncheck layer 1. Let's go to layer 2. All right, there's my string. There's my contour around the cutout on the arm. I've got my rectangle. It's coming through and it's giving me the welded aspects of all those pieces. Okay, coming out and around, back down, coming out and around, back down. So that's layer 2. So everything to this point looks correct. So now I'm going to uncheck that, and I'm going to go to layer 3. Layer 3, sure enough, it shows just a little cutout here down at the bottom, down by his legs, and then the rest of it is coming up and around with a circle. So this design was done completely within the Valiani software, the vStudio software. Everything that was in here is included with the Valiani program. And you know, this is just another example of what you can do, how creative you can get with the program if you follow and understand the tools and work with the different shaping and contouring aspects of the program, using the clip art, working with the openings, and just kind of welding and trimming and shaping the objects together. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully it provides you a wealth of information that you can expand on. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me at cterry@crescentcardboard.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.